can potentially Flutter Mane, depending on how that goes. It's got Mystical Fire as well. And there we go. It looks like, actually, Geo is going to pick the rules, and we're going to get started. But yeah, I think what's interesting too is screens, right? We have screens on Nicholas' side, which is going to be really useful against Geo's team, considering it is pretty much hyper offense when you look at it. It's got a lot of, it's got supportive moves like Will-O-Wisp on Talonflame. Talonflame's like the one supportive Pokemon, but then Palafin also got Haze, so that's really useful. Great Tusk has Taunt. That's also quite useful. So the support moves are scattered throughout Geo's team. But then you take a look at, but in the primarily it is just overall offense. I think if you're Geo, you've got a plethora of options, right? You got Talonflame, which is always going to be useful. You may not need it. Nicholas has a really balanced speed here. You have 3 Pokemon that are relatively fast, which is Flutter Mane, Iron Valley, and Florges. 2 Pokemon which are, and the rest are pretty slow, actually. Azumarill, Mimikyu, and Grimmsnarl. However, Azumarill and Mimikyu have priority, so you could go with that. Terrafire Azumarill just works in general as well, because it's good. It's just really good. It hits a lot, and between Fire, Water, and Fairy, that's just an amazing 3 types to have on one singular Pokemon. And looking at Geo's side, I mean, it's tough to beat that. I wouldn't necessarily Terrafire right away, but it is depending on what comes out. There's obviously those Steel types which you can hit, but it's a really good Pokemon in general. Not to mention Dragonite's going to be given some trouble by Flutter Mane here and Mimikyu, which are same type. Ghost Fairy cannot hit it with that Choice Band and Terra Normal. You have to hit it with something else, and with Geo's team here with Extreme Speed, Aerial Ace, Earthquake, Ice Spinner, right? So you have to lock on to something that is not Stab, and that is going to be tough. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Dragonite not dropped in this matchup, but it is really good against quite a bit of the others, specifically Florges. But we're going to get right into the match here. Geo's going to send out Golden Go and Talonflame, while Nicholas is going to send out Grimmsnarl and Azumarill. So good leads on both ends. It really depends on what happens, right? Talonflame's solid because you can set up that tail end. You can set up a Will-O-Wisp, which is really solid on Azumarill. This is a solid spot to Terrafire that Azumarill. There you go. We're just, no surprise, because you avoid the Will-O-Wisp burn. Golden Go's going to switch out. No surprise there. That's good. I'm going to guess Palafin. Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be Palafin probably. I was like, maybe Dragonite if you got Dragonite, but you don't want to ruin the multi-scale. So Palafin's going to go ahead and swap one in, and this Terrafire Azumarill now going to be taking a hit from that Palafin. Now Palafin is an interesting spot. We can see Golden Go switch out, and Golden Go is Life Orb, so it is not choice item. And there's that Terrafire Azumarill. Now Grimmsnarl can set up that screen. It's just whatever screen. We're going to see just Talonflame go straight up Brave Bird. Like I said, you don't really need Tailwind on this team considering everything else is pretty fast, but you have priority for Geo. You've got Aqua Jet. Jet Punch. You've got Golden Go. May just struggle, but you got Sucker Punch. You got Extreme Speed. You've got a lot of options. Terra Blast, Terrafire going on to this Palafin. It is not hero form, so it's going to take some massive damage compared to when it is in hero form. That's a pretty big chunk for something that resists. So yeah, Nicholas has got the option on the screens here. That's not bad. Talonflame, you can see it didn't do that much on Azumarill, especially with the screens up. Palafin, I'm gonna go ahead and guess is gonna switch out. I wouldn't be surprised to. Oh, okay, Palafin stays in. Okay, I'm guessing maybe a Jet Punch here. Reflect's gonna come out first though. Talonflame goes for Tailwind. Oh, they see Wave Crash. I wouldn't be, that would be faster now after that Tailwind. And there it is. Yeah. Wave Crash gonna connect with that Azumarill. It is gonna knock out even through the Reflect. Okay, so Palafin in a spot where now it's pretty safe to switch out, I'd say. That Terrafire is kind of detrimental because there's not really a ground type move that can use. Golden Go is weak to Iron Valley. Yeah, I would say right now your best bet. I would go in, out of these two. I would go into Flutter and just Shadow Ball, to be honest. Because if it switches to Golden Go, you get Shadow Ball. If it actually switches into anything that isn't King Gambit, then it's going to do some really solid damage with just a Shadow Ball. If you're Grim, you set up the other light screen. I believe. I think you set up. Oh, you set up both at this point. You can crunch Misty Terrain. You're not really going to need Misty Terrain. Worst case, you get Will-O-Wisp, but you don't have anything that can really be Will-O-Wisp at the moment. So I would just go straight up, just double up onto the Palafin slot here. Dazzling's fine. I think, like I said, Shadow Ball's probably better. You can Power Gem onto Talon to get rid of it, but. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would probably target the Palafin slot just because, like, I personally think that is... Yeah, it's going to switch out. It's going to either go into Golden Go. King Gambit would be the only one. That would be scary. And, okay, so that was... Okay, so this is good. This is a good call. Going up for the double up on Talon here. But you do got to watch out. Brave Bird going to connect faster than Flutter still thanks to that Tailwind. And it's just going to deal 50%. That's a lot. Shadow Ball is going to connect with that Talonflame, so I believe that will get rid of the Talonflame here. Not quite. Not quite. But So I think the crunch here... I was connecting with King Gambit. Yeah, now you're in a tough spot. Really tough spot if you're Nicholas. There's a crit on King Gambit, but yeah, because your Talonflame outspeeds if you're Geo. You got Sucker Punch. A lot of ways that this thing goes down. Honestly, yeah, you gotta get rid of that Talonflame. You just gotta, because yeah, you really got, yeah, just gotta get rid of the Talonflame, because then you're left with 3 Pokemon in the back, which Iron Valiant could potentially handle. I mean, it's got weakness, it's got the way to handle all of them with the exception of Palafin, but like, you're Iron Valiant, you're fragile. Iron Head, gonna go ahead and knock out that Grimmsnarl through the screen. Was that a crit? It wasn't even a crit, but it was a Defiant boost, so that what's gonna do it there. And now it's Iron Valiant versus the world. At this point, you just Sucker Punch and and Jet Punch if you're Geo, and that's basically the end of this matchup. Nicholas, I think the only thing that really Nicholas needs to really conserve that Azumarill for this next one. You're gonna go to Gold and go. I mean, that's not a bad option. Right? It's whatever you need. Yeah, you just Sucker Punch, make it rain. Sucker Punch, whatever on a Golden Go. It doesn't really matter at this point. Yeah, Nicholas kind of in a tough spot here. I don't think there's much. You can close combat on Gambit. Maybe, yeah. I think if I were Nicholas, I would swap out the lead for the next turn, knowing that the Talonflame comes in really fast. What I would try and do maybe is try and go for like I would go with maybe the Flutter Mane Power Gem lead with Grimmsnarl Screens. And we're gonna see Golden Terra into Steel. There it is. That's gonna go for Make It Rain. Most likely. I'd imagine it would. But it looks like it's a bulky. And there's Sucker Punch. Doesn't do a ton. Dark is just 4 times resistant on Valiant, so that's nice. But Valiant's really fragile where this Make It Rain won't fight anyway, so yeah. Okay, yeah, if you're Nicholas, you gotta think, okay, how do I conserve my Azumarill? Because that thing is going to be the way I win, right? Golden goes weak to it. Okay, and Azumarill is not something people should take lightly. Huge power makes it a ginormous threat, especially at Pure Fire when not a ton can hit it, especially knowing that this Golden Goat does not have Power Gem. Yeah, it's going to be really useful. You can get rid of Golden Goat really easily. You can get rid of Talonflame really easily. You can get rid of Great Tusk relatively easily, depending on what you use. If it's Focus Sash, so you just need a little support with it, maybe with Flutter Mane, right, with Dazzling Gleam. And then you can Aqua Jet it. But like, I think, like, I personally for this matchup, I think if I was Nicholas, I would just go for, I'd go right into Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, I would just go Dazzling Gleam, Flutter Mane, and screens, set up screens. Yeah, you're weak to Steel, but at the same time you've got Mystical Fire. Yeah, Floor just works just as well actually, especially too because Floor just can Terra Fire as well, and just straight up Terra Blast, Terra Fire onto whatever comes out, and then Flutter Mane can handle it. I think maybe you don't need screens. I think it's good. I think screens are really solid. But like, there's also 2 Steel types. It's just for Palafin and Great Tusk, really. Which we didn't see Great Tusk in the last matchup. Or Dragonite, so. Wouldn't be surprised if Geo brings out the same 4 Pokemon, which is Talonflame, Palafin, King Gambit, Goldengo. Nicholas, we saw a bit of a variation here because we're going to see Florges here. Goldengo, Palafin leading. Great lead for Geo. That's a really, really good lead for Geo. Florges, Flutter Mane. Alright, let's get into it here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just say, I think the best bet... Yeah, this is a tough lead still. Geo just has a really commanding presence on the field. That Palafin's definitely swapping. The question is, do you Terrafire Florges? Do you switch Florges? What do you do? Right? And I think the best bet, like, if I were Flutter, I would just straight up Mystical Fire Goldengo and swap Florges out. Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, I think, yeah, Palafin's gonna switch. There was no question about that. Doing this is really smart because, and we're gonna see King Gambit, which is the obvious switch. So Geo playing it really safe, right? The Mystical Fire is really good because Golden is going to protect. That's really smart on Geo. It allows them to scout out what move is going to be used. So that's the good news. It's solid, right? It's a solid choice. Moonblast going to go onto the King Gambit slot. It doesn't do a ton. To be honest, Mystical Fire may actually pick up that KO. I wouldn't be surprised if we said... Yeah, I think you got... it's one of those things. Which one's going to switch? What are they going to do? King Gambit's in a position for Sucker Punch, right? We're going to see Goldengo switch out. So really good call there on Nicholas, knowing that Goldengo's going to swap. Going to Talonflame now, which is kind of nice for Geo because you can set up that Talon. I think doubling up on the King Gambit's really good, but you're going to have to take the Sucker Punch, which is going to deal a lot of damage. Leaves it with 8 HP, but that's enough to survive and pick up that Mystical Fire. Gambit, just really bulky with that Assault Vest. The Defiance going to activate, but it may not matter because this Moonblast is going to connect with the floor just here. Real nice play. Real nice play. That was a really good play. Yeah, that may actually really be a deciding factor because we're going to see Palathin come in, but the cool thing about Palathin here is Azumarill can take those hits pretty good. I think Florges, like, here's the thing with Talonflame, it's got priority Brave Bird, it's got Tailwind, it's tough. Florges is chilling in water. Yeah, I would just straight up chill in water on Talonflame. What can you do it on Palathin? That lowers its attack stat. Choice Specs is Mystical Fire. If you're going to do that, honestly, just, yeah, I think maybe you could switch Flutter. Or go for Mystical Fire. You know, it's like you kind of need the Pokemon in the back more. We're actually gonna see Terra. I'm guessing that's gonna be that's gonna be pop in the water here. Yeah, I'm expecting a Jet Punch on the floor. Just I'm fully expecting a Jet Punch on the floor. Just Azumarill is actually in quite a tough spot, even if it does come out, because you got the potential Will-O-Wisp from Talonflame. Brave Bird gonna connect with the Flare Main. Yeah, that might now be a Wave Crash on the floor. Just actually, here. Chilling Water. Floor just goes first. So it is Wave Crash. Gonna drop Palathin's attack stat. That's actually quite nice for Nicholas here. But Geo still in a really good spot. Wave Crash gonna actually do solid damage onto Geo's own Palathin here. I was expecting a Jet Punch. I think that would be enough because Floor just is really not physically defensive. So, but Wave Crash just for the assurance there to that you know you KO. Now these next two are going to be quite interesting, to be honest. Iron Valiant and Azumarill, right? This actually may give Nicholas a chance here. Considering that Golden goes the last Pokemon, right? You didn't Terra yet. Azumarill can Terra. I would not Terra this turn. Because you will get Jet Punched or Wave Crashed. You will die. You will go down. The Azumarill's gone, right? Here's the thing. Liquidation on Talonflame should pick up the knockout. Iron Valiant? That's the thing. It's just up to Valiant. You kind of have to close combat on Palathin and hope it's enough. I think it's pretty standard. If you're Geo, you Will-O-Wisp the Valiant. You Will-O-Wisp that Valiant. Because you know that Valiant's going to do good. Yeah. You could also Will-O-Wisp Azumarill. Personally, I think it could work because you can knock out Valiant on the next turn. But we did not... we did see Tailwind on the last turn, so... Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, there's the Terra. Is that Terra Fire? No! Whoa! It is Terra Steel on Iron Valiant. I don't know. I guess maybe for the Brave Bird? Well, that's what I'm thinking. Paladin's gonna protect. Paladin's gonna protect. Okay. There's the Tailwind. Okay, so Tailwind was actually on the turn after. Yeah, was not used on the turn after. It was Brave Bird. Close combat. Not gonna connect with Paladin, but we are gonna see Talonflame go down here. This is gonna be interesting. Liquidation, gonna connect with Talonflame. Picks up that knockout. Okay, so the question is here. We got... Okay, so here's the thing. Goldengo, right? It's gonna come down to the speed with Goldengo. If it's bulky... Because Iron Valiant's relatively fast, right? You gotta double up on the Valiant. You gotta go make it rain. You gotta go for Wave Crash. Nicholas is not in a terrible position, right? There's the Make It Rain. That is faster. That's quite solid on Valiant. You have to Wave Crash it. You have to Wave Crash it. You have no choice. You have to go for the Valiant, or Valiant is going to be able to pick up a knockout on Goldengo here. And there's Wave Crash onto Iron Valiant, yeah. You had to. You had to get rid of that Valiant, because it's got knockoff, and that just threatens Goldengo. And then if it's Palathin versus Azumarill, I believe Azumarill wins. I think that Terra Steel, to be honest, was... I feel like the Terra Fire may have worked, but at the same time you have Palathin, right? It's one of those 50-50 games. And Azumarill's going to miss the player off onto the Palathin anyway, so... That's going to seal the deal for Giovanni. Yeah, Giovanni, again, a brilliant player. I mean, seriously, obviously, one of the best, like I said, top two in most, if not all, the tournaments that we've had, the Gym Challenge Sundays here that Gio's been in. Just an absolute massive commanding lead, and we see it here against Nicholas too. Yeah, it's tough when your only real method to get rid of Goldengo. I mean, obviously you can go for the dark moves, but that's kind of ghost moves. That's a bit of a risk. I think that was just positioning there from Gio that really won Gio the game. You know, once you are able to position your Pokemon in the right spot, get it to where your Palafin can knock out the fire types and Flutter Mane, and just not have to worry about any Terrifier Osmoril or Terrifier Florges or Flutter Mane with Mythical Fire. You can get your Steel types, King Gambit and Golden Go into the right spot to just kind of sweep. And overall, Geo will be moving back to top 4. We will see Geo maybe later on stream if they do good with their top 4 matchup. You know, it's up to, we don't know how it works. I would be surprised. Emotional Support Pikachu, what do you think? Do you think Geo's gonna make top 4? Top 2, sorry, top 2. You guys interpret that as the way you want. We'll be right back with our top 4 matchup, and who knows who will be on stream. The winners of these current top 8 matchups will go to top 4, so we'll see you then.